if insulation is gone. We don't know, and the owners themselves are not contractors, we can't decide that. Second of all, I know you said I don't want to discuss the budget, but I will chime in on one thing. We can vote to waive reserves in the year 2025, as long as we do it prior to December 31st, 2024. And we need to do that because we don't know what the governor's gonna do. We don't know what the legislature's gonna do come the next year when they meet again. And they don't know what they're doing. Could be so many different changes. We can't adopt a fully funded reserve schedule at this point because we don't know what the changes are gonna be with the government. So I think we need to put that on the table for all owners to be able to waive reserves for the year 2025 budget, as long as we pass it by 12/31/2024, which we always do for the following year. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. All right, Liz, I'm going to answer two things. One, thank you for the kudos. I do appreciate that. I did take some days off for my daughter's wedding. That couldn't be helped. I couldn't get the bugger to reschedule. But the stuff that you're referring to, the statute that you're trying to quote here, it does not apply to you. You're not three-story condos, and that's what that applies to. As far as just in general waiving your reserves, all I'm going to say to that is why Pebble Springs is in the spot they're in with their finances right now. Because the board consistently asks the owners to waive the funding or partially fund. So I'm never going to recommend that. You are in dire straits in most of your clusters right now. And those that
You've done the SERS report. You've done the SERS report.
We didn't do a
so
SERS.
we need to address it and acknowledge it.
Liz, you're incorrect. We did not do a SERS, nor are you required to have one. You are not 3 stories in height.
I know you're not required. I agree. You are totally not required to do it. You are not 3 stories and above.
Right.
I totally agree. You're not required.
And we
But
did
I
not
was
do
told
one.
It was done.
We did a regular reserve study. We did not do a structural integrity reserve. And all that language about the December 26 and 25, that all applies to the SERS. It does not apply to any regular reserves at all.
Okay, I'm mistaken then.
That's okay. That's okay. They're similar, but I don't want you to think you have to worry about it before the end of 2026. You do not.
And one thing I want to
No,
clarify.
no, 2024.
No, those
You
dates
can
have
waive
changed.
the reserves as long as it's done by the end of 2024.
No. If you have to have a structural integrity reserve study, which you don't, it has to be done by the end of 2024. The waiving of reserves and the requirement to be fully funded on those reserves to the date that you're supposed to be is now December 2026. But again, like you said, nobody knows what the governor's going to do. But none of that applies to you at all. None of it. So just forget all of it. Yep.
Thank you.
And Liz, one thing I wanted to clarify is the adjusters are not the ones that need to go into the attics. It is the remediation people, and those are the ones that we were asking to go in. So the adjusters will take the reports from the remediation folks, all the photos and everything, and they will work with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Do we have anything else on the hurricane?
Unless anybody else has any
Any
questions.
questions and those in attendance? Jeff?
I have a question on the roofs that are covered with the blue tarps. Are they all planned on being completely replaced if they're covered with the blue tarps?
Cluster 2, all of their roofs are 2008.
We were gonna do that in 2025 anyway, but now that they're damaged, we'll see what the remediation company, what they found up there and what the adjuster said. If he says the roof's a total wash, then we may be able to get that done.
Well, I guess my point is that they've got all the blue tops up, and all the blue tops are nailed every 16 inches about across the whole roof. So how are they going to patch the roof with all the nail holes?
No, the blue tarped areas, those areas have to be replaced. They're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
So it
it's
doesn't
not
matter
just
how
patch-
many nails they put in there. That's
They're not just patching.
Yeah. Speaking of, did you guys see that picture on Facebook of the one house where the dumpster landed on the roof? I was like, okay, I could lose a few tiles. I could do that.
I heard a tree split a house in half.
It did, yeah, but it was somebody's, it must have been an empty dumpster, just landed on the roof.
Janet?
So are we not sure
And
then
you
if,
say-
Go
are
ahead,
we
Janet.
not sure then
I
if
feel sorry,
if the
I'm sorry, I
ins-
feel bad for the owners of Waterway.
Go ahead, Janet, sorry.
are we not sure then if the insurance is gonna cover the roofs, and if not, are we gonna get assessed?
For the roof,
Yeah.
for the damages,
Yeah.
yeah. You guys have to do, you have to fix all this stuff, like the fence and everything.
Right.
But once we have the bills, we can do, some of the clusters did it, and I don't know if your cluster was one of them. Did you do that special assessment?
Yes,
Thing?
where that loss, whatever it was,
Loss
where we,
assessment.
yeah, where we were able to turn it into our insurance and be reimbursed?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Definitely be doing that,
yeah,
Okay.
and then maybe beyond that.
Is
yeah,
that-
it might be beyond.
Is that something you can do annually, a year, you know, I mean, we did it
Once per
Once-
policy year.
Once per policy
once per year, okay,
Yep, once per policy term, depending on
Okay.
when your term ends.
okay.
Now, I think, and you can check with your own individual insurance carriers, they may have, you know how you have options, like, you may be able to increase that from 2,000 to 5. You may be able to say twice per year.
Sure.
I don't know, but the statute requires them to include 2,000 once
Right.
per policy
Right.
calendar.
So it's just up to you when you took the policy, whether you increased that or not.
If your carrier offers
Yes,
it. I know that
yes.
some don't even offer it. They do
Got
the
it.
minimal and that's it.
Got
But you
it.
can check with your insurance,
Mhm.
see about it. Okay.
Anybody else?
Hurricane, anybody online, please remember that you're muted. I see Kim, I see an iPhone, RKK, Austin's on here, and there's a 443 number. If you have something to say,
Kim?
please.
No, I just wanted to bring up, I saw it, excuse me, cluster 3, right across from you, Laura. Up at the peak, that blue tarp is
Flapping,
flapping up about a good 1.5 or 2 foot of it.
yeah.
So it got pretty windy the last couple of days, and that would start ripping it through those nails.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically above, 6112 and Robin and Terry's homes, so 10 and 8. 10 and 6, yeah.
Do we have, I know it's not the most important, obviously the roofs are, but the fencing, just from the privacy standpoint and everything else and the security of it, do we have any idea how long before anybody comes out to look at the fencing, or how long that might take?
No, yeah, none, and I put you on the fencing list first thing Friday morning, I think, after the hurricane. I got you on there pretty early.
Okay.
But they are so backed up and behind
They-
and,
yeah.
yeah.
And do we know anything about the fencing that's down there by us, where that Mid-Florida Credit Union is coming in? They were talking about, they were going to pay for the fencing?
They will, it's their fence, they're gonna replace it, and they're gonna extend it to the bush.
But I mean, how far? Does it go all the way past cluster 4, or just
No.
us?
No, it's
Just
just
cluster
Burger
5?
King line.
Just,
the Burger King credit, bank's
right,
line.
their line
Yep.
to the, okay, okay.
All
Okay,
right.
let's move on.
Alright, consideration of painting work orders.
Who's got it?
This is Nancy's baby. Nancy, you have to start.
Mine. Okay, we've been getting a lot of work orders for people who want their doors painted because the painter did such a crap job on doing the doors. Right now, I think we've got like 24, something like that. That is a lot more than what Abraham is capable of doing. He'd have to come in multiple days of the week just to work on doors, and that is only if the people are actually there to open them. Because we're not painting any doors that the owner is not there to hold the door, have the door open. Personally, my feeling on it is, this is not something that benefits the entire complex, which is what the handyman's job is to benefit all of the clusters, like picking up the trash, making sure that the place is clean, the bathrooms are clean, everything in the clubhouse is taken care of, all that kind of stuff. painting was an individual cluster choice. And in my opinion, the clusters need to go back and find someone to come in and have it done. Or get the people who did the painting to come back and do the job right.
Nancy, I reached out to John Burnett, and he's gonna take care of cluster 3 stores.
Oh,
Okay.
John. Wait, John.
I reached out, that was before the hurricane, and he said no problem.
Have you any idea what he was gonna charge per door?
No, he didn't, cause then the hurricane hit, so I haven't really touched base with him again.
Okay.
But he told me he would go get the paint and do it and get them all done.
Well, that
I
would
think
be
he got,
wonderful.
I think he got in touch with you too, didn't he, Janet, for numbers?
Well, I'm gonna make a suggestion to you, and I'm gonna make a comment, Nancy, I'm sorry, you're not gonna like it. But first off is, we could have had the painter come back and finish it. We could have been adamant about that and forced it, but we gave the work orders to Abraham over a year ago. There is no way the paint contractor comes back a year and a half later to finish stuff that we're gonna claim wasn't done back then. So, it's too late now, that's not even a consideration. The second thing is, the logistics. Robin, if you're gonna have someone else come in, like John Gouvernaut, we need to let the owners know plenty in advance. We need to pick a day, we need to tell them, we need to identify how many doors in your cluster and tell them this is the day, he will be here, he will be doing it, and if he doesn't, you have to do it yourself. And we'll get rid of these work orders. What happened with the painter, with Tim, was he set a day, he came out, nobody opened their doors, he only got to do about 7, then remember we had him come back out and he got to do about 3 more, and, right, and nobody, now he didn't give us a lot of advance notice, John Gouvernaut will, but that's it, and if the owners don't open it, I don't want a work order, then paint it yourself, I don't know what to tell you, because, you know, we'll give them plenty of notice, and if they can't be there, they need to have their designated person there, because the door has to be open for a while, it has to dry.
Well, and they also painted doors that were shut.
That's what we're talking about, he painted it because they couldn't get in, and the whole edge is not
Yeah.
painted, yeah.
So that was true talent right there.
Yeah, he
So,
just,
yeah.
to make it look like he did his job, right, guys? Yeah.
Originally, when they gave the job to Abraham, it was the other board, the last board. We had like maybe 1 here, 2 there, that were looking to get their doors painted. Now we've got 24, because of cluster 3 and cluster 5 having recently been painted. And they did the same thing there as they did on cluster 2 and 6. Painted the damn thing shut. I'm sorry, I do not think that it's fair to expect Abraham to do that at this point. There's too much.
I understand, but I think that decision should have been made back a year ago.
Well,
But
if
it's done now.
If Robin is having John do it,
See what he charges.
see what he charges, because
Yeah.
I mean, John's reasonable, so I think that's what we look at.
I think that John needs to have some specs. Because the way that those doors have to be done, there is a ridge all the way around the door. Because of where the door was painted shut. So it's thicker at the edge, and then it goes to a green door. You know what I mean? Around the edge is all green, because the doors were green. So he painted the blue, and that ½ inch or whatever it is all the way around the door is still green. But there is an edge that sticks out from the door because of the way they did it. That has to be sanded down before those doors are painted, in order to make the door look like something decent. Otherwise, it's gonna look like some 7-year-old did it.
All right, so,
Robin can supervise our doors.
Work it out with the contractor.
That's right.
yeah.
All right. Anything else on that? We just all decided Abraham's not gonna do the painting, so I'm gonna get rid of all those work orders and
Yep.
just make a list of the doors that need to be painted.
All right, next up is consideration of cluster master expenditures over $1,000.
Well,
You
I
have
don't
to
know
see.
if you've all been behaving or things have not been breaking until the hurricane.
It's because the hurricane hit and we're all stunned.
I put stuff on, putting stuff off.
Okay. AM PM restoration for cluster 2 for 1,637.78, and that was for unit 6354 water leak above unit. Expert water removal cluster 3 for 2,630. Unit 6116, that was water mitigation also. Pitch roofing, cluster 3, they did 2,550 repair on 6116. By the way, that's not all fixed, so that's a whole nother issue. Cluster 5, 3,825 for unit 5952 by Crown Roofing. And classic roofing, cluster 6, 2,175 for unit 6345.
This was me, and I think they did that, when was that done? And I had the same leak in the same place through the hurricane, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna pay the remainder on that.
Well, you already paid these, so we'll have to argue with them.
Mm-hmm.
But these are just ratifying these because they were
These come back
emergency
to back,
repairs
yeah.
and we.
So, same on 5052, they went in, repaired it, and the next, I don't think it was even a hurricane, next rain came, went through the roof.
Same credit?
And now we've got further damage from the hurricane, so it's.
And they were two different roofing companies. So you're talking about 5952.
Wasn't Crown the 38?
Crown was yours, but hers was classic.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, two different roofing companies. So these are just ratifying these decisions to get them done, and
Okay.
anybody who wants to argue them, will certainly argue them.
You have a second to approve?
I vote, yeah, second, sorry.
Those in
I'll
favor,
approve.
those in favor say aye.
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 Yeah.
Alright, so let me
Alright.
circle those two.
I,
Alright, thank you. Okay, next up is consideration of other last minute contracts or proposals.
Yep, I got two.
Oh, you got two.
I got three things. Okay, one is the board is in receipt of certified correspondence received by an owner that needs a response. In the statute, you have to provide in writing within 10 days a substantive response. However, if you wish to get a legal opinion on it, then you have to respond to the owner within the 10 days that you're requesting the legal opinion, and you have to provide them with a response, including, based on the legal opinion you receive within 60 days. So, it's over my head. I'm not going to interpret the statute here.
We just say something like there was conflicting advice on this, and the board did the best they could. I think, we're talking about parking, right?
The towing,
Yeah.
yeah. So, that's up to you guys.
I think we need to bring that, send it to the attorney. Cause there's cited statutes.
Agree, Laura. Yeah, I agree, Laura.
Yeah.
I completely agree with Laura.
I agree also, I just think that we should wait till the new one is hired. I have sent the information into the office manager at, Thompson Nashby.
Najmi Thompson.
Those are the ones, yeah.
That was your oldest.
Requesting that they, allow me some time to talk to them and explain some of the situations that we are looking for an attorney to handle. And I have a list of questions for them, but the office manager is not the correct person for me to be talking to. I need to be talking to one of the partners. And I did email them. She has not responded to me. I called her this afternoon. She was in a meeting and I didn't hear from her before the end of the day. So, at this point, we don't have a second opinion, or we don't have, another lawyer in the loop. Now, Jeff Davis was also gonna call another attorney. He is there tonight in the meeting. I don't know if he can tell us if he's spoken to that attorney, organization or not.
Well, hang on, because we're not on the litigation update here, or the attorney update, so you have an
I
association
know, but the
attorney
thing is
now?
that I think that if you're gonna respond to the person who sent that letter within 10 days and tell her that we are going to send it to the attorney, we as a board need to consider sending it to the new attorney, not the current attorney.
I understand that, and I understand what Laura's saying. What I'm saying is you don't have a new attorney. So when you're making a decision tonight as to how to respond to this, we don't have a new attorney. You can't respond to the correspondence with, we're getting an attorney opinion, I'll let you know when we have one.
No, you can tell them that, we should have an opinion in 60 days, because if I don't hear from her by Monday, I'm gonna call somebody else
Well,
there.
the problem is too with Anderson, I mean, he doesn't do anything in the time, you know.
He doesn't do it.
Well,
So how long will that?
anything but the documents he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to update the board on another situation. You have another, legal matter going on. You have one attorney right now. You're just gonna have to go with that attorney for now. You wanna check with a new one when you hire a new one, then go ahead, but this is the attorney that you have. And not for nothing, but we've been talking about hiring a different attorney again for 6 months and we haven't done anything, so we just can't, you have an attorney, that's the one you're gonna have to use if you choose to get a legal opinion. Charlie doesn't want a legal opinion, he wants to do a board response, so the rest of you weigh in.
I want
Oh,
a
you want it
legal
legal.
opinion.
Who's that? Who was
That
that?
was Don.
Okay.
Go on.
I agree.
And I agree too. Just to cover our bases.
No, honestly, Janet, we rely on you a ton with the statute, and for, as you have said, you know, the interpretation, that's going on it, because normally, I believe you 100%. So, from a comfort level, I think it's necessary to get one.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to interpret the statute, but normally I respond to, this particular owner, because I do know my job, but in this particular instance, I don't know, and, you know, well, the only person left that this would affect on the board right now is Charlie, right? You're the only one that's left on the board, I think, Charlie? That was.
No.
Robin and Nancy were on the board at the
Yeah,
time.
Robin.
Oh, okay.
But,
Nancy.
Yeah, but I'm just not sure, you know, because you have some board members who are not on the board, I just don't know, you know, that's not, I can't do that, it's unlicensed practice of law, so I wouldn't, plus I don't even have an idea, like, it's not even in my head, so, I mean, it's up to you guys, but I'm sorry, Charlie, but that's what I strongly
I'm
recommend.
gonna move to refer to the attorney. We'll get
Yeah.
this
do
done
we have
with.
a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye. Opposed? No,
No.
we got one. All right.
All right,
Who made the motion?
I did,
Oh, Charlie made the first, okay.
and I voted against it.
Do we have two other?
Okay, 6 yes, 1 no, Charlie.
Charlie, you made the motion and then you voted against it?
I did.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine, it's
Okay.
fine for a board member to support somebody putting it on the table, but then, the two other things, so we need dates, so this is gonna be, first off, I'll send them out to you again, I know it's been crazy, but everyone has got to give your budget a last look, because they gotta get mailed out to the owners. And the rules and regulations, both require 14 days notice with a copy going to the owners, might as well get them all in one package. So, let's look at the next dates. Your next board meeting would be November 21st, which is the Thursday before Thanksgiving. Do you see any reason to move that, or is it fine where it is?
November 21st.
Yeah.
Megan, you'll be in town for that, right?
Yes. And it's my birthday.
Oh, even better.
21st?
We'll bring you some cupcakes, how about that?
Oh, it's your
Yeah,
birthday?
we'll have a party after.
Megan, don't come to that budget.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Don't come to that budget board meeting. That will not be a good birthday. Don't come to that.
Yeah.
So, no to the 21st, or should we do it like the day before?
I'm just asking you
Oh,
guys,
wait,
do you want?
do you think the very next day?
It's the next week.
No, okay.
21st is, that's the
Oh,
one
okay.
before.
It's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fine with me, it's up to the rest of them.
Okay, so we'll leave it for,
21st,
So
okay.
these guys on the board told
Yeah.
you they can put
And that's the
wherever they
budget
want.
and the rules and regs.
yep, all at the same time.
You're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, right.
Okay, before we open it to the owners for the Q&A, I just need to ask one, oh, sorry, go ahead.
After you're done, I
Oh. We had this on here about this closed meeting, about the, personnel. Do you still wanna have that, or do we wanna table that now with everything going on with Nancy, with the, hurricane, cause I know more has been.
I'm willing to do it, I'm willing to table it, it doesn't matter, whichever way the rest of them wanna go.
Okay, I was just asking, I just thought I'd bring that up with with the extra stuff that's being done, I thought maybe now was the time.
There's nothing I can prove though.
Okay.
Season's
Go ahead,
good,
Charlie.
But there's nothing.
Okay, so I've asked for private signs at the east entrance, and so, similar to the ones that are at the north entrance, so I'd like to get approval for that.
Do you know who made them, where they came from? Probably, okay, cause I
We'd have to look for vendor.
match, you're talking about that white one on the ground that says private property or whatever.
Yeah, the one that's laying on the ground, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't see why not. How come they didn't put them up there to begin with?
I don't know.
No.
Because most of the riffraff was coming from that section. And now it started coming in this way too.
Started coming in
So they're
that
just
way.
mass.
Okay,
So do we need to,
Yeah.
do I need a motion then?
Nah, that's a small, it's not a big thing.
Okay.
No.
I'm done then.
Alright.
I have a quick question about, well, sort of related to that. If, I understand that, you know, we're doing repairs as quickly as we can, touch the fence. But as far as repairing, how can we make sure that we have a conversation about any updates we may or may not want to do to the fence so that we're not repairing something that we want to update anyway?
So Megan, I talked to Quality Fence, they were here yesterday, and I did find out that, our fence is old and it's brittle. And the company that had been making that fence is no longer around. So
Okay.
I spoke to Lee at Quality Fence, and he told me they can order them, it's just a matter of getting those pieces and how many of them, because of the age and the brittle nature of the panels, are truly going to stay standing up. So I think the board has to come to a decision about the fence, because, if the credit union is going to pay to replace the fence that's in that section from Burger King down to the end of cluster 5, that's at least a section that we're not gonna have to pay for, but I told Lee that we needed to get a quote if we went with the same fencing, just to put it back up. I've also instructed Abraham to pile the pieces that are not broken, near where we think they came down. So at least have those to kind of look at, but I do believe that we're gonna have no choice but to look at options with the fence, and we just can't do that right this second, so.
Yeah, totally understand. I just kind of wanted to put it out there so that it's just a step to the, you know, just make sure we get to that. I think that it's something we've been talking about anyway, so I think it's a good opportunity. Whenever the time is right, whenever it's accepted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Laura, is that, just a quick question, with the fence, didn't Janet mention earlier the fence is not covered in the insurance though, correct?
Correct. Unfortunately, no,
Okay.
it is not. And I do have to tell you, Robin, something hit one of your fence rails, probably going 100 miles per hour, and so your beautiful wire, wrought iron fence has a rail that has been bent in. Yeah,
Okay.
so, but yeah, I mean, it's not covered by insurance, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do about it, but there are very few sections of the property where the fence is still standing. So, and unfortunately for cluster 6, she's got the homeless woman who is
Right
returned to
outside
her
my front
camp
door.
along Unity Avenue, and it's just, it's not great.
Actually,
So,
that tree is, the tree out there, that's, I'm gonna take, I
Is
think
it coming
Jesus
down?
take that down.
yeah.
Easier in the morning, I want to have it just cut down, that might eliminate maybe a little bit of homelessness, and not to replace it.
Yeah, and there's, Jesus is working through the property and taking down the trees that he has basically determined because of their leaning, their roots were being exposed, that he's taken them down. There are some newer trees that he believes he can actually save because their root system is not, as brittle. So, where he can save them, he's saving them. Where he can't, unfortunately, we've got trees coming down, so.
So along the same lines, I remember, again, about a year ago that we had talked about adjusting where the dumpster is near cluster 2 and 6 so that we could stop the foot traffic or something about the dumpster. I think,
Well, that was
I don't
in,
even recall that, but-
that was in August,
Yeah.
not a year ago.
Feels like a year ago.
No, okay, well, I just, well, it seems like a long time ago, sorry.
Yeah, sure does.
Tell us about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's something that we have to talk about because we want to close that in and the hopes to cut down
Yeah.
on that behavior. So, yeah, it's on the table. All right, anybody who's here, anybody who is in attendance, do you have questions for the board, considerations? This is the Q&A section. Doug?
We're having ongoing termite issues that seem to be getting more pronounced by the season, so. And the termite guys are saying that they're seeing them in a lot of other places. I don't know where we're at on that process, I'm just letting you know, we've had them out 3 times over the last, well, less than a year, probably
2.
6 months. so.
Year and 2, right?
2, so.
When were you guys tented? Have they been tented?
Yeah, EJ was in charge.
We were tinted, 2 was tinted once for termites, I don't know if that's that. Oh, no, it was not.
We gotta look to
I
see
know
when you
I
guys were
wasn't here, I was in
tented.
the summer.
How many years ago?
It's been forever.
I'd say at least 5 or 6.
They were the first cluster to be tempted.
Yeah.
In my must have known.
It, yeah.
Oh my God.
2000 or
I'm
20.
guessing that it was roughly 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Gotta do it every 8 to 10 years.
It feels like we're due, I'm just letting you know, we're having struggles with it.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I think,
Hi, it's Kimberly, can you hear me?
Kimberly, wait a minute, we have somebody in the audience here who has a question.
Why is it
Perfect.
in the room? It's not an audience. Next time you say audience, I'm gonna make you do a puppet show. You better get some finger puppets. I'll give you some.
has the board prioritized, like a priority list of what needs to be replaced first? I know you want a private sign out there, I could care less about the private sign right now until the whole fence gets replaced at the same time and do it one time instead of,
Yeah.
let's fix this, we spend money on it, and then guess what, that's just gonna be ripped out and thrown away, cause we're putting a whole brand new fence in. I'm just asking, is there a priority list? I know the roof's a priority for
Yeah.
everybody, obviously.
Well, the damages are separate from just Charlie's, from a couple dollars out of the operating account,
But-
just to put us
but those-
by the door,
But
by the end.
at the end of the day, we still have to replace the fence, correct?
Yeah.
Right?
You
If
need to.
that's what I'm hearing from you
Yeah, we'll have
guys.
to see what they come back with
It's-
options.
Yeah, I asked Lee at Quality Fence to provide us some pricing.
Have you gone to USA Fence?
Not at this point, no, because we honestly were not planning on having to replace the fence this year.
We've
Oh,
been
it's not in
with
the
you were-
budgeting for this year, okay, I understand.
You were with USA Fence for years,
Mhm.
and the last time we had them out for an issue, it took them 7 months to respond, which
Yes,
is
it
why
did.
we just swapped to Quality this year, so.
Understood, I understand that,
Yeah.
that happens, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
They're all
likely
behind
have
now,
to get, we're gonna have to get bids on the fence because we can't.
I'm just asking
You
the
blow on it
priority
and it
list
comes down,
of things.
so.
Tinning would be high, obviously, on the priority list.
And tenting is something that is handled by your cluster. So
Okay.
tenting is not something that the entire community does. It's done in stages. So
Understood.
cluster one was done in
years ago.
2020, I think, 2021.
Okay.
So they all get done at various stages when they're due.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I was just curious. That's all. My 2 cents.
thank you. Kimberly?
Hi Laura, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, first and foremost, I just want to let you know that I am absolutely thrilled with the way that Pebble Springs looks right now. I work out at Moat Aquarium. I can tell you that we have not been back to work, and there are condo communities out in that area that are still waiting for insurance companies, for the management to come in. I'm very pleased with the way they've handled it, and I really appreciate it. Second, of course, as you know, our windows blew out. They're the original old windows. I just want you to know that we are having them repaired. They've been ordered, the front door has been ordered. But just for anybody listening, they're telling us, and we were one of the first people in, they are telling us anywhere between the last week of November and the first week of March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just so you know, that's how it's going down. So I do have someone coming out that is going to cover the outside of the windows because there is still some glass. And I have a gift certificate for whoever picked up the glass 2 days after it happened.
Jim Mack.
That was
Oh my
Jim
God,
Mack.
thank you. This is a lifesaver. Oh my God. As you know, Robert is having some health issues, and I couldn't get to it. Certainly he couldn't get to it. And when I came home one day, it was gone. So
Yeah.
I will get that over to him. But anyway, thank you. I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing. I just, thank you. That's all.
Thanks, Kimberly. Anyone else before we adjourn?
Hi Laura, it's Austin. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, again, thank you guys to everyone on the board, and Janet as well. I know you guys are balancing a million things, and I agree, Pebble Springs looks fantastic. I know there's a lot of work to be done. So, first and foremost, thank you. In cluster 2, I know you guys said that all the roofs, maybe I misheard you, do all of the roofs need to be replaced?
No, okay, the owners don't even know this yet. We'll be sending it out once we finalize these operating. The roofs, the insurance, again, we got stuck with, we just swapped agents. He was at the last meeting in August, very nice conversation. And then come to find out the age of our roofs, he could only get one option, one carrier to offer you a policy. As a matter of fact, what he also found out that the board at the time of that meeting was not aware of was that your previous carrier, which was Citizens, last ditch effort, decided not to renew Pebble Springs. So they must have told the previous agent who hadn't bothered to inform us yet. So your new agent got that information, got working on the policies, got you a policy, you're signed up, you have insurance, no lapse in insurance whatsoever. The problem is, because of the roofs, you had to take the policy that was offered again. So the roofs just have to be done. They're concerned about insuring you, and they're concerned about insuring you 100% on your buildings. And if they don't insure the roof, that means any damage from, like Charlie here, we're talking about attics, insulation, possible pipes, leaks into units, possible leaks down walls, possible carpet damage. None of that's covered, or is only covered to 80% or 60% or whatever they offer. So anyway, the board, because the roofs all have to be done, and it increased the amount necessary in each cluster's reserves, the board had a workshop. We had a budget workshop. I don't know if anybody came to that or who all was here, but the budget workshop, that what they decided to do is we're going to do a 15-year plan on the roofs. We're going to start funding for the 15 years in next year in 2025. But then what we're going to do is we're going to take out a line of credit to replace every roof that's over 15 years old, right? get some different estimates, we're gonna have 5 different estimates, so you have some options. Get them all replaced in 2025 with a line of credit, and then depending on that price, be able to offer the owners a way to pay it over a couple of years rather than needing, I mean, some of these were, how much were they? Some of them were like some $1,000 needed by 24 owners by the end of next year. It was ridiculous. So we're gonna try and, so all of them will be done. That is separate from any damage occurred from the hurricane.
Got it, yeah, that makes sense. I just know, for example, mine and my neighbors, I don't know if we had any damage, so I wasn't sure if the flat roofs were maybe saved. And I also was told that our roof was replaced within the last 8 years, so that's why I was also a bit confused. Again, maybe it's just misinformation, but, I don't know, maybe we can hopefully nail that down so the roofs that don't have to be replaced, you know, we're not spending, excess money that we don't have to.
Yeah, and the roofers may identify that and say that. It's just that the insurance has it split. How do they have it split? I think it's 2 buildings per cluster.
Yeah.
So they're going by the age of the oldest roof on one of the 2 buildings in the cluster, you know, either, each building rather. And so that's what happened in the past when a roof was needed, like a flat roof, they just did the flat roof